So in this video we're going to talk about how to find a specific contact if you're looking for somebody specifically and doing a manual unsubscribe once you've found that person. So first step is you want to click the Marketing Center tab located at the top of your CTC software. Once you're in this particular area, you'll want to click on in the left-hand sidebar here, the Contacts tab. Once you're in the Contacts tab, you'll notice that by default, it's going to load all of your contacts, your default all contacts segment. In some cases, if you have already switched out your segment using the segment selection earlier on as you've been using the app, it may by default have that segment in there. So you'd want to go back to your all contacts segment. But for most, it'll all show you everybody. So by default here, it's going to show you every contact or every prospect profile you've ever collected. The leads that have been identified and the leads that haven't been identified. So if you want to find a specific contact, what you'll need to do is in your left-hand sidebar here, you'll need to scroll down and you'll see that there's some options here. One is to add a new contact. The other is to import contacts from a CSV file. Configure, and what they mean by configure is it's the ability to configure what shows up in the tables here under these interfaces. So if you want first name to show up and last name or addresses, you can apply those here and it will now show you that data like it shows here in these tables. But for the demo purposes here, we want to find a specific contact. So what you'll need to do is add a filter. So click the Filter Contacts link. What you'll see now is the Filter Contacts options box. In this first drop down here, we give you all of these options to filter contacts. So you can find somebody by their email address, their first name, last name, title, company, so on and so forth, as you see here in this list. So for demo purposes, I want to find a specific person by their first name, so I'm going to add first name. In this next drop-down box, you can either decide whether it matches or it contains. And so if you use matches, what it's going to do is it's going to look for any person who has the name of John or whatever name you put in there, but it's going to look for that name to be identical to the way you've put it into that field. So it needs to have a capital J, so on and so forth. If you use contains, what it's going to do is it's going to find all the Johns. It doesn't matter whether it's lowercase, uppercase, as long as John is the first name or is somehow in the first name. So it could be John Paul. If John is part of that name, it will find all those contacts. So for this demo, we'll use contains. Apply the filter, and what we'll do is go through your whole data set and find every contact you have that has a first name of John as part of the name. So what you'll notice here now is that you see the segment selection drop down. You now have a filter. First name does contain John. So it's looking at all of your contacts and anybody with the name John. So here they are. And you can obviously show more results. You can go through here. So there's some interesting things you can do when you're in this screen. Let's say you wanted to take everybody who was first name John and you wanted to add them to their own email list. If you click the Select All option here, you'll see that it says all 10 contacts on this page are selected. Well, let's say you wanted to select more than what you see here. You can actually select all 707 contacts or however many you had. And if you go back to your left-hand sidebar here, you'll see there's an option to either add checked to a list or download those checked or even delete them as well. You can also delete contacts this way as well. So in this case here, we're not going to add check to a list or download, but I wanted to show you how you could do that if you wanted to create a new email list or do mass deletion there as well. So for this, I'm going to unhook that. So let's say I want to refine my search even more. I have 700 Johns. Well, you can continue to add more filters. So I'm going to add another filter. I'm going to go back to Filter Contacts, and this time I'm going to do a last name. And I'm going to do last name matches Drockman. So we're going to look for John Drockman. So I'm going to apply this secondary filter here and see if I get any results. And I did. I got 3 for John Drockman. John Drockman's a partner of ours, so he has three profiles in our system here. So let's just say for demo's sake here, I want to now change information about John or manually unsubscribe or just know more about John. So I can go ahead and click this link here under email address, and it'll pull up John's whole profile here. So I'll go ahead and click that, and now we're in the profile screen for John here. Here's all of his contact information. And let's say I wanted to manually unsubscribe John, I would need to, on the contact view area, I will need to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see there is an option to manually unsubscribe John. Click that once. It'll appear a prompt for you to verify what you want to do. Hit unsubscribe, and now he's been completely unsubscribed from any future email communications. So that would also be the same if you wanted to change any personal information you had on him or add information. You go ahead and add that in. Click the Save button on the bottom of that page, and now you've added information for that particular person.